Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, my name is Nurul Afika binti Muhammad Norden. My ID number is 24B0810. Thank you for joining me today. In this presentation, we will explore the life and theories of Karl Marx, a foundational figure in political philosophy and social theory. We'll begin with his early life and education, examining the influences that shaped his thinking. Then, we will delve into his key theories, particularly his views on class struggle and historical materialism, and consider their lasting impact on modern thought. The first one is Karl Marx's background. Born on May 5, 1818 in Trier, Germany. On 1835, he completed his schooling in Germany before studying at the University of Bonn and later in Berlin. Then, he was encouraged by his father. He shifted focus to jurisprudence and political economy, immersing himself in radical thought among a group of thinkers known as the Young Hegelians. Next, the Young Hegelians, a vibrant group of young philosophers often called the Doctors' Club, were influential thinkers who engaged deeply on debating with Hegel's philosophy, emphasizing historical change. They critiqued religion, viewing sacred texts as historical documents, and Marx's transition from religious critique to the pressing political critics amidst the rising tensions in Prussian society. Next, Marx's interpretation. Marx's view of history as a product of class struggle became a cornerstone of his philosophy. Historians like Georges Lefebvre articulated this, framing the French Revolution as a conflict between the rising bourgeoisie and the declining aristocracy, fundamentally tied to economic conditions. In summary, Karl Marx's early education and involvement with the Young Hegelians influenced his views on class struggle and history. He argued that historical changes arise from conflicts between social classes, as illustrated by the French Revolution. His ideas remain significant in understanding the relationship between economics and society today. Thank you for your attention. I would now like to introduce the next presenter, Shazina, who will delve into the theories of Karl Marx and their implications. I'm sure you will find their insights both informative and thought-provoking.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nur Shazana Shazina binti Muhammad Sharizan. My ID number is 24B1003. Hi everyone. Now we're diving into some of the core ideas of Karl Marx. We'll be looking at his theories on alienation, the dictatorship of proletariat, the critique of ideology, and the labor theory of value. If you ever wondered why Marx's ideas are still relevant today, stick around. First up, let's talk about alienation. For Marx, alienation wasn't just a mental or philosophical issue, like it was for Hegel and Feuerbach. He saw alienation as something deeply material, which is a social problem rooted in economics. Marx identified four aspects of alienation. Number one, alienation from labor. Workers have no control over the work they do, making it feel more like a chore than a meaningful activity. Number two, alienation from products. They don't own what they create. Imagine spending hours making something, only for it to belong to someone else. Number three, alienation from other workers. Rather than cooperation, competition rules the workplace, distancing people from each other. Number four, alienation from human nature. Work, which should be fulfilling, end up feeling like it just means to survive. Capitalism, according to Marx, intensifies this alienation. It separates workers from products they make, leading to feelings of powerlessness and isolation. And this idea of alienation isn't limited to economics. It echoes through psychology, sociology, and even political science. In capitalist societies, this can create a widespread sense of disconnection. Marx wrote about this in his 1844 manuscripts, where he explained how alienation affects workers, tearing apart social bonds and contributing to feelings of hostility and fragmentation. Now, let's tackle a concept that's often misunderstood: the dictatorship of the proletariat. When Marx used this term, he didn't mean a literal dictatorship. He was talking about the temporary revolutionary rule by the working class. This is to dismantle the old state and lay the groundwork for a new kind of democracy. Marx's idea was actually influenced by past revolutionary movements, which he saw as step in the broader class struggle. Unlike the authoritarian ideas of Blanquism, Marx's concept was fundamentally democratic, a means to end class distinctions and pave the way for a classless society. During the Cold War, critics twisted this idea, presenting Marx as if he endorsed this dictatorship. But that's not accurate. Scholars like Hal Draper emphasized that the dictatorship of the proletariat was meant to be a temporary, revolutionary phase to achieve equality and freedom. Next, we got Marx's critique of ideology. Marx argued that the ruling class, what he called bourgeoisie, control not just material production but also intellectual production. What is the influence of bourgeoisie? They shape society dominance ideas to keep themselves in power. This includes religion, culture, and law, all tools used to maintain this class structure. This leads to what Marx called false consciousness. Workers start to see capitalism as natural and unchangeable, not realizing they have been exploited. Religion, for example, can encourage people to accept suffering, while the legal system protects capitalist property rights, and consumerism distracts us from the reality of exploitation. According to Marx, ideologies mask the true nature of society, stopping workers from realizing their revolutionary potential. A material and ideological revolution, he argued, is the only way to break free from the control and create a fairer society. Now, let's break down one of Marx's most famous economic ideas, the labor theory of value. Marx believed that the product's value is determined by the amount of socially necessary labor time it takes to produce it. So, what is socially necessary labor time? This means that the value doesn't come from individual effort but rather than the average labor time required under normal conditions. He talks about this extensively in his book Capital, explaining that different products may serve different purposes, but they all share one thing in common, which is the labor that went into them. Marx critiqued classical economists like Adam Smith and David Ricardo for ignoring the social relation behind the production. He introduced the concept of surplus value, which is the idea that workers create more value than they have paid for. This surplus is pocketed by the capitalists as profits, highlighting the exploitative nature of capitalism. So, to wrap things up, Marx's theories give us a deep look into the structures of capitalist society, revealing how it leads to alienation, class struggle, and ideological control and economic exploitation. His work invites us to think critically about our economics and social system, and to consider alternative ways to organizing society that prioritize human welfare over profit.